Okay, third time is a charm. Let's hit it. All right. If I hit all the right buttons, we are live again for another Friday, my friends. But hey, this is not just any episode of Talk Power BI. We are in the thick of our 5-day Power BI challenge, and we're close to the home stretch. We are on day 4. So I'm gonna hop in here and say hello to all my friends, and we do have Anatoly on the call as well. Anatoly, I'm gonna. Sorry, I had to mute you. There was some feedback from your phone. Let me see how do you. Hey, Anatoly, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Terrific. Good to have you here. Hopefully, others from the class will join as well. I would request, Anatoly, if you can, just go on mute when you're not talking. Uh, yeah, otherwise, it's cool. Sam is here. Guy Johnson, always good to see you guys. Feng is here. So Feng, you joined my course, right? You can dial in on the phone if you want. And last time, I couldn't rustle up the link, but I think I can this time. And we'll have a call in for everybody as well. Let's talk Power BI special fast. So if you're a student in my paid program, then you can use this. You don't have to. You can hang around on YouTube. That's good. So Feng, I see Sabia. Asif says hi from Saudi Arabia. Anon is here. All right, my friends. So hey, I have some. Let's see who else. How can we refresh a single Thailand dashboard? I guess is 5th day. Yeah, so that's the first time we're doing a Saturday live, and I didn't want to go into the Thanksgiving week. So for the 5-day challenge, yeah, but it's going to be fun. So tomorrow is actually a big day because tomorrow we're going to announce the winner of the Power BI challenge. And so I'm going to tell you all about how it works. So folks, if you've gone to powerbichallenge.com, well, I suppose all of you have by now, right? That's why you're here. If not, then I guess you can still sign up. Sign up at here. Hopefully that link does work. Yes, it does work. So if you sign up over there, then and if you click to the chance to win, the last step wasn't live. So let me test if it's working now. It's supposed to be. Yes, it's working. So hopefully you've already left a comment. You've done the step 1. You have been hanging out with me in the live sessions. You're here today. Thank you so much. Just stay active on the email as well. And the last step is you fill out the survey and you'll be entered to win. And if you enrolled in this program during the enrollment period, so course enrollment has been opened and opened on day 1. So anybody who participated in the day 1 webinar, or you've been able to catch the replay, I'll put the replay link as well here. So that's the day 1 replay. A lot of catch up happening today. So day 1 replay is this, in case you missed it. Then you heard me talk about the course, and this is your chance to win it. So if you enrolled in this period and you fill out all these steps, you would still be eligible. And what I'm thinking is, is that, well, we'll say, hey, you can have your money back, right? I mean, if you win, or bring a friend into the course. So that's going to be up to you. But of course, you don't have to enroll to participate in this. Everybody is eligible, but of course, we're gonna pick one winner. So let me tell you a little bit about the idea behind the course. And again, if you watch the replay of the webinar, then it would have all the information. I mean, I teach in the webinar. I talk about Power BI. I do share the 5 what I think are key secrets, these lessons that were critical in my journey, and I had to learn these lessons the hard way before I really took off with Power BI. So that's the webinar covers that. But at the end of the webinar, I do talk about the course as well. So let me speak a little bit about that, because as I said, you do have the chance to win the course as well. So the course, my friend, came about at the beginning of last year. Now, I had been teaching Power BI for a long time, and I was doing mostly in-person classes, going to companies, and of course doing a lot of consulting. Now, at the beginning of last year, I wanted to do something big. I wanted to reach, well, I'll actually share with you. My goal seems silly, but it was to reach 1 million people. And I said, you know what? Why not? Let's go for the stars, right? So I had heard there are 750 million Excel users out there, and I had lived that life, right? I mean, it was hard. I was, kind of chained to my spreadsheets, cranking away the reports all the time. And the worst part was that wasn't my day job. Why was I doing it? But that was my life, right? So I was a business analyst. My goal was to help businesses, make more money, save on costs. But I ended up being a data jockey. So I was spending a lot of time there. And then I discovered Power BI, and I realized my productivity had gone up like 100x. I really became, from that one person cranking out reports for my manager and maybe my team, to building a BI platform using Power BI for 600 plus people. And that same platform is now, last I checked it had crossed like 2,000 people or something. So it grew from there even after I left it. So I realized the capabilities of Power BI, and I wanted to spread it out in a big way. So of course, I left Microsoft, eventually started my online course. So that's the goal with my course. And the idea here is that I want to package that 20% that gives you 80% of the results. So that's the challenge. If you're learning on your own, you're going to find there's lots of information out there, right? I mean, you just Google it, YouTube it. Yep, my stuff is there. Everybody else's stuff is there. But that is also the challenge as well. And some of you may have realized that. So a lot of students who join in the course, and you heard some of them talk about it on the day one Q&A if you joined live, was they said, yeah, I've been trying to do this for a long time, and I hear all stories like, yep, I started 3 months ago or 3 years ago, and just haven't been able to make that progress, because again, it becomes this thing of piecing together a jigsaw puzzle, and you realize that, man, some pieces are missing, and you try hard, like, oh gosh, it's frustrating. And when you feel that frustration, it's a sign. All right, it's a sign. When Power BI feels hard, feels like you're swimming upstream, then you're not doing things right. So in my course, I kind of package that. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, there we go. Right, so on my YouTube channel, you guys are familiar with the Zero to Dashboard tutorial. That's available online, and then. And then we take that and we dive into each section. So Zero to Dashboard goes end to end, covers the whole spectrum of Power BI, and then we just dive in to each topic: query editor, relationships, DAX, visuals. So it's got and another thing that I realized is that, man, people are busy. So for one, I really love the online format because I know it works for me. So I designed it that way. All the videos are kind of 3 to 7 minutes long. You can, kind of catch it on the go. And so that's that. So we go query editor, relationships, DAX, visuals, PowerBI.com platform. And you see how I'm focusing on kind of the core concept, that 20% that gives you 80% of the results. Now, of course, that's just the starting of it. And I think that's where a lot of this learning, teaching things out there, they kind of fall short, which is they just focus on teaching. So on day one, I talked about the model that I have, and I don't have my slides up, but we'll do it on the fly. So it had a pretty circle on there. Imagine a circle, and it's a cycle. It's a cycle because that's what I believe. That's how we should learn. I'm not a huge fan of 2-day classes. Imagine, so I got kids, so somehow all of my analogies are on kids. If I wanted my daughter to learn Spanish, what would I do? Would I send her to a 2-day Spanish boot camp? Man, that just sounds silly. But still, we do that again and again for training. Wouldn't it be better to learn in cycles? And that's what's built into the course. So there are these bite-sized videos, and you're supposed to. So the first thing here is you learn. You learn everything. That's the first idea. And then, oops, I lost it. Let's try it again. I'm not going to be fancy. I'm not going to draw a circle. But the first one is you learn if you learn, right? Just watch the videos, go through that. But the next one is, and I had to play with the acronyms a little bit. So, oh, shoot. I can't type. oh well, I'm not even gonna try, guys. So learn everything, learn, and then you apply everything. And you apply using the lesson files inside the course, but I also strongly encourage you to apply it with your own business data sets. And if you know me, you know that we always try a lot of different things inside the class, real Power BI projects and this, that, so that even if you don't have the opportunity to apply it at work, we give you some scenarios. And the next one is you fail again and again. Sorry, I had to be a little creative. You'll see where the acronym is headed, right? So again and again, you're going to fail. And that's a big sticking point for a lot of people learning Power BI, is that they keep hitting these roadblocks and it's frustrating. But I want to switch the way you see that failures, right? When you fail again and again, when you again and again you hit those roadblocks, I want you to see that as positive, because that's where the progress is. What is on the other side of failure? It's success, right? So yeah, but that's where a lot of programs fall short, where they don't have support. So the last one is, hopefully I can do it this time, there's a lot of support. We do it together. And I'm there to support you inside the programs. I'm there to help you over the roadblocks. But not just that, I would say I'm incredibly proud of the community we have built. It's now across 400 people across 25 different countries. I actually stopped counting at 25. I should do a recount. I know one person joined from Macedonia a few months back, and I was so glad to welcome her and talk to her, like, what's happening with Power BI in Macedonia, and all exciting stuff, right? So anyway, so that's the course, right? And if you attended the first day webinar, you got to hear more about it. I talked about it in more detail. If you didn't, you can go to learnpowerbi.com/replay, catch that there, and if you so choose, you can participate for a chance to win. Just follow all the steps on challenge accepted page. All right, let's see. We got some newcomers. Stock Turner, Jen Abel. Good to see you here. I missed you in Chicago. Did I tell you that? I probably mentioned it in one of the early lives. We had a pretty cool. Let me see if I can pull up. Well, it's just a selfie shot we took in Chicago. There are a few students who joined there. Okay, got it. Yeah, James Gamby. Feng, halfway through the course already. Ooh, wow, it's really. Thank you, Feng. I really appreciate that. So Feng says, I'm halfway done through your course, and it's really great with compared to many online courses. And again, I mean, remember, it's not just about the course, it's about the community. Yeah, and when we started out, I was kind of hanging out, answering all the questions, and now there's some amazing superstars in there, and which is a great thing, by the way. So the community is not just to support you, it's also for you to support others. And I'll say two things. One, it's not some random community out there. Well, yeah, it's a self-selected group. For one, every one of these people stepped up, and they valued their time. They valued this opportunity. They realized that either they can spend 3 months or the next year or 3 years, whatever, just kind of, going through the slow route, or they can step up, recognize this opportunity, and kind of go all in, right? So they all committed to that, and they've all gone through the same concept. So you don't get any random piece of advice. Now, I'm always there to be the guardrails if it goes sideways. But so yes, it's a great community. But as I was saying, it's also about helping others, because that's one of the best ways to help yourself. As said by one of my famous students now, Keith Nail, to teach is to learn twice. Cool. Let's see who we have here. Loretta Sue. Hello, Loretta Sue. Good to have you here. You can also dial in if you like. Loretta Sue is in our program, of course. At University Ross Baldwin. Feng says due to Texas. Okay, cool. UK. Alan says hello from UK. It is wonderful. All right, guys. So day 4 is about visualization. So if you've been working through the challenge, you've gone through the first 3 steps, you have focused on the query editor, you've focused on the relationships in DAX, and we talked about that in previous ones. And again, if you missed any of that, you can go back and catch all of that in the resources. Right? So you have all of the replays and everything just lined up for you there, and all the files available as well. But today we're going to talk about visualization. Now, visualization is one of those things where actually I don't talk about it much. And I'll tell you why. It's a complicated topic. It's one of those things where you say, oh, well, how's your relationship with visualization? I've never been asked that, but if I were to be asked, I would say it's complicated. It is certainly complicated. So because I believe that is not about the visualization, it's about what's under the hood. And it's so odd because unfortunately, any of these self-service BI tools out there, Tableau, ClickView, Power BI, they can't really lead with what's under the hood. I mean, some players do, but they are niche players, right? They're not these big, kind of big market companies. So most of them, almost all of them, I would say, lead with the visual. And that makes sense because you can see the visual, right? It's tangible, and frankly, it's tangible for the C-level executives, right? So if you're showing something to a CEO or something, yeah, they can kind of see it, and it makes sense. And like, yeah, cool, look at this, and click here, click there, and just look at this engine and all that stuff. And so there's so much focus on that, whereas I believe that the real power in Power BI is under the hood. It's in the query editor. You've seen that, which helps you shape this model, which lets you bring this to life, right? So shape this. If you've heard me talk about modeling, you create this on paper or whiteboard, and then you query editor, you bring it to life, and it should look something like this. And then you define your measures, and then you can do any visualization you want. And that is the key difference between designing a Power BI model versus a Power BI report. I see a lot of people out there who are just building reports. And I don't blame them because frankly, I was exactly like them. I mean, in Excel, you can't separate the model from the report. It's just, I mean, you kind of can, but you kind of can't, right? In fact, there are 3 things in Excel, and I'm talking about the old Excel. The new Excel has all the strength of Power BI built in. But in the old Excel, these 3 worlds were all conflated together. The 3 worlds are data entry. So sometimes you're pulling in data from other sources, but oftentimes if you're using Excel, you're entering data there as well, right? So that happens sometimes. And then data entry, the data model, and reporting. All 3 are one. And nothing made that clearer to me than when we did the real Power BI project with, Kimberly Marie. So real Power BI is something where we run inside our class, where we bring in a business user and we just work on a real Power BI project. It's simple as it sounds like, right? So Kimberly Marie, she's a hairstylist and also helps other hairstylists. She's also a business coach. And yeah, if you looked at her data entry was right there, her model was right there, and model, as best as you can describe in Excel, it's kind of the bunch of formulas, right? Anyway, it's the old Excel, my friends. And the new Excel has Power BI built in. So, and the report was all mushed together. So now we get to separate those, and that's where you get the real power. And that's where you make the distinction between the model and the report. And my favorite way is, of course, to publish this online so that you can have a model, right, a single source of truth, and you can connect multiple reports to it, multiple visualizations. You can have one Power BI report for the sales team, one for Jonathan, who keeps pestering you for some specific item, one for the marketing, one for executives, and you can have an Excel report, and you can have an SSRS report. Heck, if you want, you can connect Tableau to it. I don't care, right? Connect any tool you want. So visualization becomes separate. And that's also one of my biggest arguments for companies considering Power BI, right? So I'll say, don't focus on visualization. Focus on what is the best tool to build your data model. Visualization is the easy part. Cool. Okay, Sam saying I hate Tableau. I wouldn't go that far. Well, there's certainly on my site. Actually, let's sit there for a bit. Let's do this. So let's go to the Tableau video that I have. All right, so cool. I'm glad to hear I'm resonating with at least some of you. Oh, perfect. So stock turner is right on with me. But so I get a lot of hate mail or hate comments here. Not a lot, but you know. So so yeah, there's some which are kind of nasty. This is just a snide one, like real preference. I'm looking for the nasty ones. I should just pin them up the top, you know. So some of them are kind of nasty. But here's what I would say. So we're talking about Power BI versus Tableau. So I have shared this story with anybody who would listen to me, including I got to share it with Amir Nets. If you don't know Amir Nets, he's like a celebrity in Power BI circles, pretty much the architect of Power BI. Man, that guy is brilliant. So I was hanging out around with Amir Nets, and what I said was, remember the time when companies used to hand out Blackberries to people, right? So remember the time when companies used to hand out Blackberries, and yeah, we all had. I had one at one point. Like companies with BlackBerry, was really excited to have it, and that time is gone now. I mean, it would just seem silly, right? I mean, imagine you joined the company and the company said, "Here's the BlackBerry. You should use this." Like what? I mean, Microsoft, quite a while ago, they allowed you to bring your own device, right? And you can bring an iPhone. They're happy. And IT doesn't care at all. Why should they care, right? Why should they enforce which device you're using? So that world is now changed to smartly, very smartly, it's BYOD, bring your own device. The system just works. Now what's happening is, just like earlier companies used to give you the BlackBerry, now they're giving you, enforcing you that visual device, or visualization tool. So they're saying, oh, we're a Tableau shop. Oh, we're a Click shop. Oh, we're a Microsoft shop, or whatever, right? It's silly. It's beyond silly. It's just, yeah, it's silly, and it's not going to last. In fact, if you dig under the covers, it's already gone. I mean, that's not the reality. So the reality in a lot of companies is, you look at a Microsoft shop, and there is sometimes, often, there is a group of Tableau users. These are heavy-duty business analysts. They're just really good at Tableau. And if you look at the work, man, their work is stunning. It just blows your mind. And you can try to recreate it in Power BI, but why would you, right? I mean, it's just silly. Same way, you can have a Tableau shop, and you go talk to the finance people. Guess what they're using? They're using Power BI, right? Inside Excel or in Power BI desktop. And it's just silly. And now they're doing it kind of secretively. They would talk to you in hushed tones like, yes, yeah, we're supposed to be a Tableau shop, but I use Power BI. I love Power BI. It shouldn't be like that. It's somebody trying to sneak in an iPhone Microsoft. So those times are going to change, my friend. We are, if not already, well, I hope this happens, we're going to move in the world of BYOV. Bring your own freaking visualization tool. Why should the company mandate something to us, right? So if you're a business user, if you're a heavy-duty analyst, you love Tableau, go ahead and use it. If you love Power BI, go ahead and use it. What's important is the model. The model. So, okay, so sorry, I went off on a rant. Actually, that was a good rant. So hopefully that made sense. Yes. Oh gosh, yeah, that definitely breaks my heart. Like my IT told me to use Tableau. Everybody, thou shall use Tableau. Oh god, that makes me angry. So yeah, hopefully that will change. But let's talk about visualizations. Let's come in here. So visualization is not where the power is, but man, is it important. Because even as a Power BI author, I spend 80% of the time, probably more, just building the model. Just my effort goes there, right? My effort goes there. So this is really funny. So let's talk about the timeline. So oddly enough, the time it takes for me to build the model, like time elapsed. Hopefully it's going to make sense. And guys, someday I'll do some slides on this. So this is time elapsed, right? So which by me, let's say I spent 2 days on building a model. 2 days on building a model, and then I would elapse time for the visualization would be 80%. But the effort is opposite. I mean, effort, it takes me 80% effort. Why is elapsed time longer? Because we're iterating with the customers. So you can't really force it, you know. So I work with the customer, say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Now, most of the changes on my side are easy. They say, oh, can we have this? I'm like, you know, I'll click a few buttons and integrate it, right? So the effort here is not long, but visualization is important because that's where they're going to see it. So visualization, there is one big problem that I see, and I think I did a video on this. Let's see, and you can watch it, but I'll give you a quick version. Frankly, the quick version isn't the title. Is people are bloody using this as a PowerPoint. They're not building models. Actually, I mixed two things. So that is a problem, right? So you gotta build a model there. But if we say infographic, so infographics is a pretty cool field, something that I don't think I'm qualified at all to teach, and it's all around. You see it in newspaper, you see it in blogs, you see it in the media, and man, they got some interesting stuff. And I have nearly zero interest in this, because what I do is I work with businesses, helping them get business insights, right? These reports which can help them drive their business. And I feel that people have confused these two worlds of infographic and business reporting, right? It's gotten confused. That's why you would see a lot of fancy elements here. My friends, when it comes to visualization, the staple is your table or cards and stuff, which is kind of tables, right? So table, line chart, bar or column chart. That's it. That should be your staple. That's what should be your starting point. Anything else, you have to be conscious. So you've probably heard me talk about it. I'll mention that guy again, Stephen Few, Information Dashboard Design. That's pretty much my Bible. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend that book, and get a paper copy. It's a very visual, very beautiful book. It's great. I have a copy right up there. It's beautiful to hold it. So I'll just, so if I were to say the whole book in one line, it's like less is more, right? Less is more. Don't try to like bling your desktop. You're gonna be tempted, but avoid that, because it's in the end it's not helpful. Because what you want is, you really want your data to shine. You want the data to be the superhero, not those kind of visualizations, the fancy visuals. And one concept that Stephen Few talks about is pixel economy. So the key is that you look at every pixel and you say, is it conveying data, right? So, I mean, this is conveying me a number. Great. Now, of course, there's a separate discussion of, do we have the right numbers on there? We'll not go there right now. Let's say we do have the right numbers. Now, the length of this bar is conveying data, so this is valuable. Right? I mean, this table is conveying data, so all of these is valuable. So what is non-data pixels? If you think about that, then so this is non-data pixel. If you put a border on it, let's just actually try that. So you would see these things, visualization. So let's put, oh yeah, love it, background. People often do backgrounds, and they love borders. Border, there we go. Right, so in Stephen Few's world, and hence in my world too, this is a non-data pixel. This is not communicating data. The color here is not communicating data. So Stephen Few's principle is, data is a superhero. So either you eliminate the non-data pixels or you minimize them. Simple. Man, it's beautiful, right? So eliminate or minimize. So of course, border and stuff is easy. Now, the trick is, and of course in his book he goes into a lot more detail, people often use border when they're trying to separate something from the other, or they're trying to group two things together. Well, as it turns out, and it kind of blows my mind just to even say it, the most important element in dashboard design or report design is white space. Yep, that's right, white space. And anybody who's good at this stuff knows precisely how to use white space. So here, what I'm going to do is turn off the background and turn off the border. Actually, what I'm going to do is, so guys, if you just give me a second, I'm going to pull up the real Power BI project, the finished example that we did inside the class for Kimberly Marie, the person I mentioned. So I'm a pack rat when it comes to folders, so bear with me. Actually, I'll hide it. I don't want to air my dirty laundry. Let's see. So if I go live calls, files, where is real Power BI? 2005. Okay, I found it. And okay, so I'll show you and we'll talk a little bit more about white space. Yeah, I like Raphael's comment. So my friend, sometimes I pit IT against business, and frankly, that was my life. There was a lot of friction between IT and business, but I think Power BI gives us hope that IT and business can really work together. And maybe, I'll come back to that. I want to continue here on visualization. So Kimberly Marie, oh gosh, let me show you the data she came in with. So what she came in with. Is this. Okay, Excel is going to take some time to open up. And where did my example go? Oops. Excel, my friend, you still opening? I should disable some add-ins. Why do I have a Tableau connector? I don't want that. I saw that loading up. All right, so again, I'm not throwing Excel under the bus. Again, so I always say old Excel, right? The new Excel has Power BI built in. It's got Power Pivot, it's got Power Query. And Excel is a great visualization tool when you connect it back to a Power BI model. And we did that. We worked with finance teams, and we had some reports in Power BI, interactive, and everybody loved it. And then we had some pivot tables connected back to the model. But this is the old Excel, and this is what I was talking about. So she was entering her data here, and then she was trying to do stuff with right here with the color coding and total to kind of report in here, and then she was trying to do something like a monthly, annual, and it was just yeah, not that great. So we separated the data entry, and by separating the data entry from the data model from the report, we could design the best solution for each one. So we realized that she used to enter her data on the mobile phone. She's a hairdresser, and her clients are the ones she serves as a business coach are also hairdressers, so they're mostly on the road when they're doing this stuff. So a spreadsheet wasn't the best entry format, so we switched the format to a Google form, making it super, super easy when it's mobile ready, right? So by separating it, we made it really simple. So this was what she came in with, and this is the end result that I gave her. So for one, man, this was a lovely process. We peeled the onion and dug deeper and deeper to try to understand what is really important to her. So I'm going to walk you through this. And we said, oh, so here's your total income, total expenses. This is what you take home. Simple, right? And then we break down the total income to services, what she charges for tips, services and tips, right? And we also show tips as a percentage, just to get a sense of like what's going on. And then we also break out the income into what she's earning by credit and cash. So those two breakdowns are important. And then in here, she had this concept of total hours that she was open. So imagine if you had a business store and you opened from 9 to 5, but you only got 3 clients. So you were busy for 3 hours out of those total 8 hours. I don't know, right? So this is total hours. This is the actual time she was with a client and percentage. So obviously you want to see this number high. So again, you're seeing these numbers are important for her, and then total clients and retail. So she also sold them product, but that was a very different animal. It was almost apples to oranges because she didn't get to keep this whole money. And she had a very somewhat complicated arrangement, like, oh, I would get 20% for this product, 10% for that product, that sort of stuff. So we recorded it, but we always separated it, right? So and so forth. And we have the slicers on here. And now we wanted to be able to see the trend for any of these metrics. And we'll say, well, okay, I got the total income. That's kind of year to date. But what's been the trend? And you can see that right here. Or you can say, okay, well, what about the expenses and take-home pay and services income and percentage income from tips or percentage of potential hours worked, all of that sort of stuff, right? So you can dive into the detail of each of that. And then we did the same thing for averages. Now, first of all, I'm going to go back to this visualization. So this is what I call the power template. And I use this all the time. Most of the times when I'm working with a client, I don't let them design the visual. And I would advise you to do the same because they're not the visualization expert. You can listen to them but you're the visualization expert. You design something for them. So my pattern is simple, is high level numbers at the top, and then some breakdowns and trends, whatever that makes sense, and then just a little bit of detail. Don't go crazy on the detail. A lot of times people coming from Excel, they just fill this with tables and matrices. Yes. There are a few changes here that I would like to have, and we'll talk about that. So I showed this to Kimberly, but then I also explained the layout of that, right? So this layout is man, I thought about it, all right? So you notice I talked about the background color, and usually I don't use it, right? I mean, because it's non-data, but remember, the non-data pixel, you either eliminate or you de-emphasize. So here, I'm using a very light color, right? Very light, subtle touch, and that's enough, right? So you only need a subtle touch, and what that color does is it kind of pulls your eyes to that. And by the way, the top left corner is the most important place anyway, because usually in our culture we scan like this. So you scan from the top left and go here, because we read like that, right? So we're so used to it, you don't even realize it. That's how your brain works. So the top elements are here, and so I intentionally used this light color because I felt I needed it. I wanted to group these things together, but then I wanted to link these guys together, like total income, and then I wanted to give at least some hint that this is related to that, right? So this is related to that, and this is also related to that. So I did that by using the green thing consistently, right? And notice, remember what I was telling, the white space is the most important? Let's try that again. And again, all of this was intentional. So I tried to keep this element as close to this as possible, and this element as close to this as possible, because I want the human mind to see it, and humans pick up intuitively. You don't even have to do anything. I mean, you don't have to tell them. You don't have to add something in there. I mean, they're together, and that means they belong. And again, I mean, yeah, don't overcomplicate. It's simple, right? So I just put them as close as I could, and you notice here I left some white space. Why? Because that's something different. It's apples, oranges, apples, oranges, apples, oranges, oranges. Just have the white space. White space is the most powerful element you can use. Same thing over here. I put them off on a side. Why? Because they're oranges, right? So that's a layout. And then the trend and so forth stuff. All right, cool. So I've talked about that. Let's just critique my own dashboard. So first of all, this is horrible placement. I have so many files like this, and I feel embarrassed now. Because again, remember what I said, the top left is the most important area of your dashboard. And when I'm saying dashboard, there is a PowerBI.com dashboard. Forget about that for now. And there is the PowerBI.com has this concept of report and dashboard. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a dashboard in the sense, the way Stephen Few defines it, which is a screen full of data, right? Hopefully presented beautifully, right? So when you're looking at a dashboard, this corner is the most important, and I wasted it. Talking about non-data pixel, this is definitely non-data pixel. This is non-data pixel. This is not adding any value. This is not contributing anything. Oh, I feel embarrassed and ashamed. A great place for those things, those icon especially, is a bottom corner. Kind of unobtrusive out the way, the least important corner, by the way, right? So that's a great corner for that. Now, I'm open to, not the name of the company, because that is always the same, usually, right? I mean, most of us are building internal reports, but maybe the name of the report is okay. Sometimes I even put the name off to the side. Depends on you. All right, so that is not great. I would change that. And this was called out by another. We actually have a visualization expert inside our course, and we're going to have him on one of the future Talk Power BI shows, and he's going to do dashboard evaluations. That's going to be so fun. So he called me out on this, and he said, Avi, we never, ever show numbers like this. Well, actually, he was nicer than that. He didn't say it that way, but that's what he was saying. He's like, Avi, might want to think about it, So if it's 29 million, you show 29.3 M. That's how you show it. So yeah, not great. Now this one is a little tricky though to solve. So because I can go in here and say auto, right? I can say auto. and it's close. So usually people would show 29.3. They show a decimal. So that's a slight challenge, and you can overcome that. It takes a little bit of work. You write essentially text measures which return it as formatted. So this is pretty nice, like 667K and something like that. So anyway, so that's another thing that I would change. Oops, didn't want to do that. Oh yeah, all right. So cool. And I go into a lot more detail inside my course. Do I have the still page up? And so I love kind of focusing on that. When it comes to visualization, it's like, when is a column chart better than a bar chart? Do you know? I don't know. I mean, I don't know till I thought about it and I read about it, right? So we covered all of that and so forth. So we have some fun as well. I mean, I'm open to custom visuals, but I was talking to somebody who had recently discovered Power BI, and she was so excited, and she said, Avi, man, I just found Power BI. I just downloaded Power BI Desktop, and the next thing that I did, I downloaded every single custom visual from the marketplace, and now I'm going through them one by one. And I said nothing because I was speechless. And this is where I think that maybe that was when I did this video, like, stop using Power BI as PowerPoint. It's not a visualization tool. Well, I mean, it is, but that's just one small part of it. Cool. All right. How are we doing time? 12:42. Perfect. So let's switch over and see. So James is saying, doesn't it depend on which area of the business you're working with to present data relevant to the business from the perspective that the department is responsible for? That's interesting. Maybe, I don't know, I'm sure it can be argued both ways. And often as a Power BI, as you've seen me talk about modeling, there are often no right or wrong, no black or white. It's just being able to understand the trade-off. So generally, let's see. So if you noticed here, what I did with Kimberly Marie is that here I showed totals, and then I showed a different set of metrics like averages. But if you see, the look and feel and the layout is very similar. And again, that was very, very intentional, right? So, and you would see this if you go to my channel and look for, I don't know, SAP Vivek Patel Talk Power BI. By the way, guys, of course, if you want to binge watch all of them, it's always more fun to attend those live. But hey, if you want to go binge watch the Talk Power BI, we have 36 now. I'm thinking of doing something big for a 50th episode of Talk Power BI. That would be super cool, wouldn't it? But if you go back here, and I'm going back, I'm going to this one. So the one with Vivek Patel. So Vivek Patel, I mean, I think this is like $1 billion company, and it's a huge worldwide company with lots and lots of employees and a complicated business. So they're in construction, and man, I mean, frankly, any business can be complicated, but yeah, construction definitely is. But if you saw what Vivek was doing, he had a high-level dashboard. Let's see if I can. Yeah, perfect. So he had a high-level dashboard which showed different areas of the business. So this is, again, looking 50,000 feet level at the whole company. How is the whole company doing? But then you were able to drill down into each area just by clicking on it. And he had a really nifty way of setting that up, that you can just, click on it, tap on that, and it'll just drill down. But the best part was, let me see if I can find it. If you drill down and you looked at a sheet, right? So you went to the main dashboard and you drilled down in one area, went back out, drilled down another one. They all looked like this. They all looked like this. So again, I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but it's pretty darn good. It's definitely pretty darn good as a starting point, and because it has a lot of advantages. So we kind of get confused pretty quickly. So imagine if you looked at the high-level dashboard. If I can find that again. Oops, not here. Yeah, here. And you clicked on this, and the layout was completely different. And then you clicked on another, and the layout was completely different. Man, it will be almost jarring, and it'll be really hard to orient yourself. So he designed it in uh, oh gosh, come on, what's that word? Intentionally, yes, intentionally, to kind of look the same. Now, of course, if you talked about different department, the specific metric was different. The specific metric shown was different, but he was able to show that, hey, this is a metric that's important to you. Cool. When you look for the detail, I'm going to give you the detail by, well, as you can see, kind of by plant, vendor, category, subcategory. I'm going to show that. I'm going to show this. Oh, I mean, trend by time. So that's over here. And then by location, something like that, right? So he took a metric and he blew it up on the key criteria that would be mostly important to everybody. So I would say if you're really building organizational level or something for, I would say this is frankly a good starting point for anybody, even if you're building for a really small team. Start here, and then what's going to happen is then you have now pages like this for, let's say, 5 pages like this, right? So which are showing you detail. Inevitably somebody is going to say, oh, but I want to see this, or but I want to see that. And either you can build more pages for them, or my favorite, you can build a completely new report for them and say, yep, go here. And you can obviously link them together. You can have like a URL at the bottom or wherever you want, somewhere more prominent. We'll say, oh, click to see this other report. And then they go see that, and that's their customized report. Good question. Consistent design, love it. Yeah, so James, a few of the comments seem to think along the same lines. Okay, yeah. So yeah, not everybody's a fan of white space. Well, oh, so let me read, Guy. What's he think? All that white space seems to make my eye wander and really not see anything. I would definitely say that. So what was my intent? And again, I mean, there's always room for improvement. But my intent here was that the eye is drawn to the top, and you start over there and see that. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe we can do. I'm not really sure that. There is a little bit too much white space. So this one was a little weird because it felt so different. I mean, most of the stuff that I've built for clients look more like this. So the Kimberly Murray one ended up with a lot of white space because we didn't have like a lot of content. But most of the stuff looks like this, so there's not that much white space. So if you look at this one here, again, I mean, your eye is drawn over here, and then I would think, look, yeah, this one feels a little bit too much complicated for me. I would put these ones maybe more prominent. Oh well, yeah. I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys. Can we replace standard PowerPoint with a disruptive Power BI? Yes. So Anthony, I have seen that. I have seen people replace it with Power BI, and I think it's brilliant. And the best part for me is that you can set it up too so that it's automatically refreshed. We built it for the finance team, and one of our favorite part was even the comments were the commentary that the finance team provided was automatic. I mean, well, they would punch it in, and you can create comments, commentary using artificial intelligence, but well, we just didn't do it. So they would enter it manually in some system. It was a SharePoint list, and it would be sucked into here. So it was automatic. And the second, it was fully interactive. So when they were reviewing something and somebody would say, what happened in June? They didn't have to wonder. They could just click on that and see the details, drill down, and so forth. So you walked away with a lot fewer action items. So I have seen companies who've replaced it. So yeah, that's definitely possible. My point about not using it as PowerPoint is that you focus on the model first. Don't start building something here. It's like, I need a chart here, I need a chart there. That's the worst way to build something in Power BI. You design a model, and then you can build any report that you want. Actually, you know what? You're right. So Actually, Stephen Fuse says that you can offset the white with a very light color. Um, yeah, and I'm smartening up. Well, uh, only recently about dark mode. I don't know what the fixation of people is with dark mode, and a lot of software does offer that. Uh, I do understand one practical aspect, which is dark mode uses up less energy on your mobile phone, so it doesn't have to light up all those pixels. Um, I have never done a report in dark mode, sorry, so I'm not very expert in that. But Stephen Few does talk about well, just changing it to just slightly off white, just a little bit gray. I haven't tried it yet, but that is definitely Stephen Few approved. So I messed that up a little bit, but so yeah, just it's not as assaulting to eyes. That's right. So I do remember that. Perfect. Better for your eye. Yep. All right, great. So Magdalena, how are you doing? Go ahead. Unmute yourself if you can. Okay. All right, guys. So how about we do this? How about we try to take some call in? I'm not sure. I've only had one call in this whole challenge, and which is well, I would love to talk to more of you. So I'm gonna share this link with you fine folks. Well, it's the same link on the challenge accepted page, so you can go there. But I'll also just stick it in here to make it easy. And I would love to talk to any of you. So now that we have covered good terrain, we have covered query editor. We have covered DAX and relationships. We have covered visualization. Now it's all fair game. Now, if you want to ask me about any of those topics, it's all good. So let's go back here. Phone. And you can also share your screen if you're really stuck with something. And I'm going to wait for that. Do I have anything else that I can use to fill the time? I can have some fun with this. Mapping. Ooh, do we have a caller? Who do we have? Nope, not yet. It's just me. Visualization. How would you do? Feng, yes it is. Oh yeah, so we were having you dial in. You had something about SSRS, right? Let me go to that. And sorry, we can get to it. So I think the dial-in didn't work for you. You can try today, see if it works. That way we can talk. But I'm gonna pull up your question. All right, Guy, good having you here. There's a link to building org level dashboard. So if you go to learnpowerbi.com/downloads, download singular maybe. Let me make sure it works and I'll put that in. So you would find the and yeah, so you have to kind of sign in, but then you would find the download for all my videos, including the organizational level dashboard. Oh shoot, is it still not there? All right. Yeah, so yeah, my team is working on it. So it's going to be coming soon. Yeah, I really apologize. It wasn't supposed to be this delayed. So the Vivek Patel download would be available at this. Got it. So James said mapping demographics financial data to geographic areas. I'm not sure if that's a question. So Sigtulmax, I'm sure you have a real name. So Feng, we're gonna get to your question in a little bit, and if you can dial in. It's asking for a password. It shouldn't. I have no idea what the password is. It really shouldn't ask you for a password. Maybe it is. Let's gosh, what's going on? Let me paste the link again, and if it doesn't work, we'll answer your question anyway. All right, let's do the first one. So I'm not always caught up on the recent update, and which, by the way, guys, I wear it as a badge of honor. I mean, don't feel like you have to stay updated on everything that's going on. So frankly, for Power BI, it can feel overwhelming. There's so much news, there's so much change, there's so many aspects. You feel like you have to know it all. Don't let that fool you, right? So remember, it's that 80-20 rule. So you focus on the 20%, and that stuff, the good part is that 20% doesn't change that much, right? I mean, modeling hasn't changed. I mean, we've had like a few functions which we knew how to work around them anyway, but now they're convenient to use. Selected value, sure, that's a new function, and yeah, I use it, but you know, we could work around it. Variables, really cool and powerful, but guess what? I mean, I was still building models before variables, so it's the core concepts that that kind of hang in there. I mean, I cover updates on my channel, and well, I do have to actually go back and cover the November update. I haven't even seen it yet. So I'll just point out to the resource to you guys. If you go through playlists, I do have the monthly updates, but pretty much in every...
Do you feel over...
Oh, I don't know why this video is there.
I'm going to cover the top...
but in every video, I talk about this, that peace out, you know, just relax. Don't feel like you have to keep running on this treadmill. Get off the treadmill, please. You know, if it feels like running like you're on a treadmill, get off. You know, you're never gonna get anywhere running on the treadmill, right? So yeah, just focus on the core concept, and that's it. So cool. Let's take Feng's question, and damn it, we're not having much luck having you guys dial in. Is it really asking for a password? Can somebody let me put that here. And try the Zoom link I just posted, and let's see if it works. Web published. So James does have a question. Okay, we have a caller. Can we hear you?
Hi, yes, it's Matt.
Matt, how are you doing, my friend? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey, well, I just started watching you a few days ago, and I'm a consultant. And I'm trying to learn as much as I can about Power BI.
Yeah, what are you, a consultant? What's your focus?
I'm trying to learn as much as I can about Power BI.
Oh, yeah. You might want to mute your YouTube. I think it's feeding back. Okay, so yeah, tell me what is your focus? What is your consulting work about? Yeah? Oh, wait. Can I hear you? Oh, hey, you muted yourself. Hold on. Matt? Oh, oops. Okay. Can I hear you? Say something?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay, cool. We're back. Yes. So tell me, what is your focus about?
So I focus a lot on SharePoint web parts, developing custom SharePoint web parts for customers. And I grew up in the SharePoint world, and then now I'm expanding into Power BI.
Yeah. So I would imagine that you, well, I'm just going to make an assumption, and you can correct me. So I would imagine that you work mostly with like the IT type. Is that true? I mean, so in my mind, there are two words, IT and business, and often there is the word between them is versus, you know. So, but that's going to change. So you're working with IT folks. So tell me how are you looking to use Power BI to serve your customers better? What would change?
I tell you, one of the things I'm noticing is when my clients come to me and they ask for help with Power BI, they don't really know what questions they're trying to answer. They just throw data. They just want to give you data and say, "Hey, give me some insight into my data."
Yeah.
So, how do you recommend someone handle that situation?
Yeah, got it. Oh, that's beautiful. So I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna say something back just so I got it. So, for one, I think it's a great sign that they're coming to you. And that's a huge sign. I mean, I kind of know it. I mean, Power BI is so hot right now. But yeah, the clients are coming to you. That's awesome. But the way they're coming to you is they just say, "Hey, here's my data, and help me make sense of it," right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ramble off for a little bit. Hopefully, some of it will make sense. So I'm a huge believer in Agile BI, and I also believe that we should learn the same way, and that's why I designed my course that way as well. Where you learn a little bit, you go apply it, you get stuck, and you get help, right? Then you go in that cycle. So you learn the same way and you apply it the same way. So I am since I am for this, I am against these let's call them 6 month long, although they often turn into longer. Kind of expensive projects which start with collecting requirements. I'm not big on requirements either. I'll get called out on that. So yeah, it just seems like such a weird exercise. It's just you collect requirements, take a lot of time, build something, and then they inevitably say, "Oh no, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I asked for." And you go, "No, look, here's what your document says." Blah blah, all of that mess.
Yes.
So I don't want to deal with any of that. So I say, Agile BI, let's do something quick. And it's I don't know what to call it. So what I like to do is build something really quick, in the sense 1 to 3 days. Now I've done this for a while, so I'm not sure. I mean, it's okay to take a few weeks. Heck, take a month, but I would say definitely not longer. Smaller the better. And yeah, just carve out a slice. So these folks, these boil the ocean. So I hear stories where they talk to me and they say, "Avi, we decided on Power BI. We're doing an inventory of all our reports, and we have counted 600 so far, and we're gonna move them to Power BI." And I feel like I want to shoot myself. I mean, it's like, yeah. So recreating existing old reports in Power BI is the most unsexiest job ever. And certainly as a consultant, I don't want to get bogged down in that, because that sometimes becomes like a lose-lose scenario. So you do the whole thing in Power BI, and then they shrug their shoulders like, well, we had it already. Yeah, maybe it looks a little pretty. So first of all, for the POC, it's important what you select the project. And for me, I'm looking for essentially something that was really hard or impossible in the old world, right? So it was really painful. They were doing it, but it was really painful. Or they had no way to do it. I mean, they were like, well, we have thought about it, but we can't do it. I love hearing that. Like, oh, it can't be done. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's see. So, but it's easy in the new world. And there are so many examples of that. Sometimes something as simple as connecting data via relationship. I mean, they were flattening a table and we look up, it was really slow. Now I did relationships and like, that's it. And that takes no effort at all. So I look for those. I look for those quick wins, and I knock it out in 1, 2, 3 days. So I work with them in selecting a project, and I knock it out in a short time. And often that becomes what I call the shining beacon. And you build that thing and they come. And I love hearing the phrase, they see it and they say, "How did you do that?" Now, of course, the funny thing is what they see is the visual part. So you got to make it moderately nice. But of course, what's amazing is under the hood, which not everybody would appreciate. So I'll share a story with you, which my student shared with me just this Thursday. So she works in a large organization, and they've been kind of on the edge of Power BI, looking at other tools and that sort of stuff. And I call these people, my tribe, the Power BI pioneers, right? So because man, they're that one-man army that starts with one man, so they, or woman in this case. So she got a request for a new report. So she had an option to do it in SSRS, SQL Server Reporting Server, or Power BI. So she said, I'm just gonna try it in Power BI. If it doesn't work, I will give you an SSRS report. So she gave them an Power BI report, and man, they loved it. It went like 4 levels up till I guess they hit the decision maker, and they said, okay, we have decided, it's Power BI. So the company is going all in Power BI. So I love this transformation. But yeah, the key is, if you've heard Stephen Covey, he in his 7 Habits, right, the famous book, he talks about the circle of Zora. That's what I'm looking for. So I want to pick that one area that, hey, we're just going to look at your inventory, and that's it, and we're going to make it awesome, right? So I just do that circle of Zora and do that. All right, my friend. So tell me,
quick question for you, if you
tell me, where are you based?
don't mind. Feedback, we ask our clients to give feedback on each consultant. Do you think that would be a good proof of concept?
Sorry.
Internally?
Say that again. You cut out a bit.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So we're looking at a proof of concept to do internally at my company.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about using our client feedback as a way to do a proof of concept in Power BI. Do you think that's a good idea? And what kind of insights would you expect us to get from that?
Yeah. So can I ask you, how are you collecting client insights? Hold on. Hey guys, thank you for joining. We're gonna get to you soon. Okay, cool. So there was some noise. So how are you collecting client feedback? Is it a survey or something else?
We send survey
to
our clients.
Yeah. So you can start there. Doesn't seem, I don't know. I'm not getting excited about it. So for me, I love dollars. So I think the connection between client feedback to dollars is indirect. So you can do it, but it doesn't grab attention the same way as something else does. So that's one, just kind of my take on it. And the other thing is that surveys are one of my most fun topics in Power BI, but that is because they're also a little challenging to model in Power BI. And it's easy to do simple stuff that show me the distribution of this question, that question. But if you want to dive deeper, it's a fun challenge. So I think from that part, it's it feels slightly off. If you can find something which has a more direct connection to dollar, either earning the company more money or reducing costs, which is the same thing, right? That may be better.
Okay.
Another question that I would ask is, are people kind of banging on your doors for this? I can't imagine that they are, but if they are, right, so that also makes it a good sign that they're asking for something which is really hard to do, and now you solve it with Power BI. So
okay.
I'll let you think about that. Hey, I was asking you, where are you based?
We're in Indiana, southern Indiana.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, Matt. Good luck, my friend. I'll see you around the channel. And hey, if you decide to join the course, I'll see you inside my Learn Power BI program.
Okay, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, thank you so much. All right, my friend. So Feng, we couldn't get you on, so let's answer Feng's. Oh wait, are you on? Hold on. Let me get. So Vajra, is it? Let me get Feng's question because she's been waiting. And Feng. All right. So, Feng, if you were, wait, who do I have? Feng, Yeah, who's speaking? Is it Vajra? Hello, who is on the phone with me?
I think it's me. Hello?
Hi there. Oh, I don't see
Hey,
your name here, but
this is the phone.
all right, great. It's bizarre. I don't see your name listed in the participants. So I'm gonna read your question here. So you're saying why Power BI cannot use a query like SSRS, and why it has to connect with tabular cube database. That is still what you want to talk about, right?
Yes, because a lot of people, my client always ask me, say, oh, we have a bunch of the
Oh,
SSRS. Can we convert to the Power BI?
yeah.
But their database is the enterprise database. It's
Yeah. Okay, you're cutting out a little bit. I'm not sure. It
yeah,
could be on my end. Convert to Power BI. And the SSRS, what is SSRS connecting to? Is it connecting to the ERP database?
yes, yes.
Okay. Well, then Power BI. I mean, I'm told that Power BI has the biggest list of data connectors. It it and so you're telling me that you have checked and is it not able to connect to your ERP database? That would be odd. Fang? Uh-oh. We lost you on audio. All right. Well, we'll wait for her. I don't know what happened there. Let's see. So James, I see you on the phone. If you have a question, maybe unmute yourself. Hi.
How are you, Ari?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I just wanted to understand what the best way of mapping customer data by product, by revenue across geographic areas, and whether the ESRI or ArcGIS maps are still the best ways of doing that.
Yeah.
And, or whether there's a simpler way of doing that.
I'll push back a little bit. I feel like maps are sometimes the most wasteful visualization. And knowing nothing about your business, but let's just do the famous.
I definitely agree with you, but executives want what they want, and part of the role is to deliver what they want.
Oh gosh, yes, I know about that. We've had long discussions about pie charts on here because
we've had long discussions about pie charts.
Hey folks, I'm gonna mute you. Wait, I don't know what's happening. So James, are you still on? Can I hear you?
I am still on.
Perfect. Okay, good. So let's just do a quick map over here. So what I'm gonna do is actually let's so here I want to do country. Where's the map one? This guy. So if you'll allow me, since there are others listening before I dive into the map. So folks, map is usually one of the most wasteful visualizations, and people love seeing this. And then I see something like this. I'll show you. They will do something like I don't know what to call it. They'll add something in the pie chart. So they will say by occupation, and let's see, did that work?
Is there any way of actually narrowing down the map baseline to a specific continent, or that is not something that you can control.
Yeah. Give me a moment. Let me rant about maps a little bit, and then we'll see how we can actually help you. Right. So people do stuff like this, and this is a little bit mindless. Yeah. So Stephen Few certainly wouldn't approve. It's not a very effective way to show data. Same information can be far more effectively conveyed with other visualization types, and far more effectively. They'll be much easier to understand. But as James said, sometimes management says, "Give me a map." So James, first of all, there's a built-in map over here. So you can start there. Let's see that. I'll show you the 3 that I know about. So, and this one is okay. Let's take away this occupation. And I think there are settings here to lock it down, and I might need some help here. And certainly the other 2 have more advanced settings. So let's see, data colors. There's something about, auto zoom. So you can turn auto zoom off. So now it's not gonna change the zooming. It's always gonna stay in whatever area you zoomed in. So
great. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So the way this map works is that you can have your data. So I have my country data here, and in the modeling stuff, it's not categorized, but you can often help your mapping engine by categorizing your data. So you pick the field. In this case, I picked the country, and what I could say is I can just tell Power BI that, this is a country, or this is a continent, or this is a city, or something like that. So that if you can do that, that helps, and that can give you better results. Now the other map is the ArcGIS map, and that one is it's a third party, which has its own implications, but it's a good one. I mean, usually the challenge that people have with third party stuff is, are they seeing my data and all that sort of stuff. Frankly, I'm not qualified to speak about that, but let's do something else here. Instead of country, let's try customer city. And I don't have a full address, so it wouldn't be 100% accurate, but let's just see how it works. So what I've seen in my experience is that ArcGIS was more accurate when mapping things. So I had more errors, if you will, when I tried this rather than that. Now, of course, if you want to completely 100% eliminate all errors, then you can geocode your information, and doesn't matter which map type you choose. You can instead of sending a location, you can send a latitude and longitude. But boy, that's too much work for me, so I have done that very, very rarely. So again, in my experience, the ArcGIS was more precise. Now, ArcGIS also have a lot more controls in here, and I always forget how to access it. I think it's somewhere here. Oh, this is cool. So you go to edit mode, and it's man, these guys, all they do is maps. So hey, they're gonna have something for you, right? So I'm just gonna have fun here. So OpenStreetMap. So right, so there are some settings here, and if you dive into the settings, there are a lot of other cool things as well. Points, boundaries. There's one thing which I think it's there, which is like a radius. So you can say, show me a radius of 50 miles around Seattle, and then you can visually see which stores are within that radius. And like, I mean, that right. So maps, when you really need maps, not to show a bar chart, but show it to me on a map, not that kind of thing. Like, no, I want to see where the stores are located, that kind of stuff. There's nothing obviously like it. So it does have, I may not be able to find it, but it has things like radius and all that stuff. So
would that be heat maps?
No, what I'm talking about is like, show me a radius of 50 miles from Seattle, or let's say in San Francisco. So imagine it put like a dot on the center of San Francisco, I guess, and it did a 50-mile radius. So then I would be able to see which dots fall within that circle, 50-mile circle or not. Like right now, I have no way to tell, right? I mean, I have to kind of guess, like, oh, this may be 50 miles, right? So it just puts a radius on you. I just mentioned that as an example. The key is that it has it has drive time. That's insane. Reference layer. So it's got some cool things there. The other one that I would definitely encourage you to explore is called Map. I'm pretty sure I'll find it in the marketplace. Let's try Map. It's like up and coming. China. Oh wow. Mapbox. And Mapbox, man, they're legit. They're big, and they have their own set of visuals. Now, last time I tried Mapbox, I did have one problem, which it seems like they may have resolved. So let's try the same thing with Mapbox. And I'm gonna say, give me my sales. I love it when custom visuals do this. Like, oh, cool, you gotta do some. Oh, shoot. Okay, so it wouldn't be that easy. It's just a one-time step. I don't know. Can I just get a token? I may not complete it, but I would say do check out Mapbox as well. Oh, shoot. So yeah, I'm not gonna go through with it. So between those three, you should be in a good position to get your customers happy.
Thanks, Avi.
Yeah, but if anybody would listen, just drop in a word just really quickly that like, well, this is not the most effective visual. No, just kidding. Yeah. Oh well, I'll leave it up to you. All right, thank you, James. That was great. All right, folks. So we finally have callers, and which is great. But I promised to Feng, what's happening? Did we lose audio with you? I'll try to give. Oh gosh, yeah, it looks like we lost audio.
I use my phone.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're back on. So my question to you was, Power BI should be able, if SSRS can connect to those ERP databases, Power BI should be able to. Tell me about that. Is it not an option somehow?
The problem is because most of the SSRS report. SSRS report, the complicated query. When that copy paste.
Yeah. Hey, can you mute your YouTube if
that query into the SQL statement?
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead and mute your
some error
YouTube.
Message.
I think we're hearing the feedback from. Uh-oh. Okay, are we good now?
I hear about a double voice. I don't know why.
Yeah, if you had me playing on your YouTube, that would do it. But I think you fixed it. You probably muted it.
Okay. And the problem is most SSRS right now in the company connect with the ERP system, with the ERP database.
Yeah, okay.
So when I use that same query, copy paste on the BI query.
Yeah. What happens?
They give me some error message. It goes error message.
Well, you just have to debug that error message. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm tempted to kind of dive in and have you share your screen and show me your error message. But what does it say? What does the error message say?
Okay, right now I cannot give to you, but I have several times did that. So that makes me think about I cannot.
No, I mean, Power BI, I run queries against databases. Definitely, that's definitely an option. So when I'm debugging, so of course, looking at your error message might help. But when I'm debugging issues, I break it down into is it like a connection issue or is it a query issue?
It's a query issue. Actually, the query is wrong on the SQL server, those kind of SSMS, it's fine. run on this SSRS, it's fine. But when I copy paste that query into this spot, you open this one, they don't return. They have problems. That means I have to change the database to, you mean change the enterprise database into some SSAS?
No. Why wouldn't you be able to? Imagine Microsoft shipping a product where you couldn't connect it to a database server. I mean, it's just not possible, right? I mean, so for one, so you got to break it down into three things, right? So let's say when a query is not working, what can it be? It can be an access thing, or it can be a query problem, right? So so if your query that you copy pasted from that is not working, what I would do is I would let's just do it right here. I would write a simple query. Just select star from table or select top 10 star from table, and
that works.
Yeah, that works.
So the
query works.
It's like a lot of join, lots of filter, and don't work.
Yes, that's right. So there is nothing wrong between Power BI and SQL Server or any database, right? So it can't connect that. Now, it is weird that you're saying that the same query works there but doesn't work here. Then you really need to look at that query. So the problem is just with that query. There's nothing to do with Power BI cannot connect with databases, right? So we just want to step off of that. Power BI can definitely connect with the databases and build all kinds of reports, but there is something wrong with that query. So you just need to debug that query, see what's going on. And I don't know, I'm not really sure. We would need to look at the error message and see what's going on.
Okay.
And I would assume you guys have Power BI Pro licenses or some kind of license?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So the Power BI...
There's no problem regarding the licenses.
Oh, no. Their support is phenomenal. Frankly, they're too good because every time I submit an issue, they contact me like 100 times.
So, you say yes. Connect with the Microsoft, those kind of answer your question or something like that, pro service. Okay, well, I haven't tried that.
Well, so again, I mean, if you can look at the error message, if you can look at the error message and you can figure out what's wrong. So in databases, one problem that I've had is sometimes the query needs to, you know, like let me just try a query here. So we'll say P3 tables, and let's just do this guy. Select top 100 rows, top 1,000 rows. Oops. So I haven't worked. Well, I mean, I used to work quite a bit with databases, but sometimes it could be as simple as you know, like in here,
those are no problem.
This query works, yeah, but in Power BI,
because our example database always very simple.
Yeah, that's right. But sometimes it could be as simple as something like this. Well, database. What if I say AdventureWorks? I mean, I expect it to fail. Yeah, so the query didn't work because it just needs a specific database reference. So it could be something as simple as that. Like we wouldn't know until we look at it and debug it, right? So again, I mean, in here, this query is working. It's giving me results. But Power BI, the same query is giving me an error. So you can have things where, and of course, in my case, it's really simple, but I just have to say p3.this, and it would work. So it might be something as simple as that. It might be something else, but it's right.
But
so
in general, you mean the Power BI don't necessarily have to connect with SSAS or Azure Analysis Service. Can directly use the ERP database.
Absolutely, yeah, and yep, definitely.
Are you very sure? Okay.
I'm 100% sure because I have not built one but multiple projects, and I'm sure folks on this on YouTube and in the class. Everybody can attest to that you can connect to it. So I will go even beyond that. So forget about SSAS tabular and gosh, what was the other one you said? Cube, MDS. You can not only connect to databases, you can connect to this whole long list of things, right? So this whole long list. So Power BI is a beast. I mean, it is built for you to process your data. So forget tabular. It has the longest list of data sources out of any other tool out there that can connect to. So databases and far beyond that. So it's mind blowing. And I imagine you were on the IT side. Is that true?
Yeah.
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 On the business side, this is a
developer, but it's...
Oh, great.
Yeah.
On the business side, this is a godsend, because often on the business side, man, I'm business users are scrappy because there is a central system built by fine folks like you, and they're useful, but often there's something very recent that I want to pull something from the web, or I want to pull this in. So for business users, it's a godsend that I can connect to an SSAS tabular if I wanted to, or a SQL Server database if my IT has enabled that. But then in the same model, I can also pull in an Excel file, a CSV file, a SharePoint list, an Azure, a web page, anything that I want. So yeah, for business users, it's like priceless. For IT, it's less so, because IT usually works in a more controlled environment. I mean, you would be connecting to like, these are my cloud sources, these are my data sources, but it's still you still have the same capability available to you. So yeah, I mean, post the error message in the class, or see if you can debug that. But if you're really stuck, frankly for anybody, guys, so I wanted to bring up Power BI support and give them kudos. They have been really phenomenal. So if you go over here, it is this section, and it says, hey, if you are a paid user, you get the support. And man, these guys are... Man, they would send me like email every day. They say, "Hey, Avi, we're still working on your issue," and eventually they got it fixed. And yeah, so it was pretty cool.
Got it.
Great team.
I got it. Thank you so much.
Perfect. All right, folks.
Thank you.
So great. That was a good conversation. I'm glad we got to talk about it. Sig till next. Gosh, I wish you would show real names. Has a question about direct query and import. I didn't think about that. So Feng, that might be something. I'm not sure. I don't think that would apply. I don't think the query would fail. So there is a choice when you're working with databases, where you can use either import it into Power BI, which I would say is the default for me all the time. Like that's the go-to. In some scenarios, direct query may be a good option, but I don't think that has a bearing on the specific query not working. Cool. So guys, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm glad you are calling in. Let's see if we have Edwin on the call. Edwin, I haven't talked to you. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and let's see if it works. Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, Avi. Can you listen to me?
Yes, I can. So, Edwin, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I work for a retail company in Guatemala.
Nice. All right. I don't know if I can spell Guatemala.
That's okay.
Okay, so I did it.
All right, great. So I'm a data scientist for the company I work for.
Okay.
And I've been using Power BI basically to do some visualizations with Salesforce data.
Okay. Terrific.
Because as you're probably aware, the Salesforce platform has some very limited reporting capabilities.
With you there? Yes.
So, well, as you probably saw in the YouTube chat,
I actually didn't pick up your comment. Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, I have my project ready to deliver.
Wow.
Because basically,
great.
Because it kind of inspired me to do something that I wanted to do.
Wow, that's great. Tell us a bit about the project. So, of course, I mean, you're probably looking at all of your company data. Which aspect did you focus on for this project? Because I mean, I usually like just picking one corner. So I don't know. Yeah, I would just love to hear how you approached it.
Oops, I think somebody got in there, but anyway. So basically, I focused on anything related to sales.
Okay, so just showing kind of the sales number. Did you show kind of year over year against targets? How did you?
Well, yeah, basically. So I had done one where using some of the things I've learned through your videos, to be able to select for today how the data compares to the same day last week, for example. And I did some sort of prediction based on the number of hours that have passed since the stores opened.
Yeah.
And basically say, okay, if we keep the same pace of sales, then you would get this sort of result.
Yeah.
And I did that and applied it to weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis. And since we just started the platform, we don't have yearly data yet. But but my challenge that I gave to myself, because this was based on today, right?
Yeah.
So, well, the problem with today, it's probably good to see how things are going today, but most people are more interested in what happened yesterday.
Okay.
Because that day has been completed. So I ended up doing the same report, but doing all those calculations for yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a fun.
That's great. So
project.
You said it's ready to deliver. So you haven't shown it, or you haven't shown it broadly, it seems?
No, I just finished it a couple of hours ago.
Oh, that is awesome. I can't wait. I mean, it sounds fantastic, right? I mean, if I was in retail, I was running retail stores, this is exactly the kind of information I would look for.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, you know what, tell me how's day going. So you reminded me of, and I have to find that person and bring him as a guest on the Talk About RIA channel. He's a Microsoft executive. He left Microsoft to become like their business intelligence head or something at a cruise ship company, and they had exactly what you're talking about. And so I've only been on a cruise ship once, but they have lots of different restaurants, and they had like this real-time system where you could see that, oh, we have people here, but we don't have people here. Ooh, can we send like a notice, like a happy hour or something, right? So you could do it like real time. So of course it starts with just having that information available. It's like, oh, you know, we're not doing so well in this store here. Can we do something there? So somehow you reminded me of that. So that's definitely seems like a great start for what you have put together. Hey, if you can bring in some sanitized screenshots, that would I would love to see that. Maybe on tomorrow's call. I don't know, Saturday, if you're able to join.
Well, the thing is, I cannot attend tomorrow because
okay. All right,
I don't work on Saturdays. So that's why I wanted to be able to submit it today, because I won't be able to attend to the call either.
Oh, I'm really glad we got to talk to you. I mean, email to me. So I use a tool called paint.net. There might be other stuff. So I use it to blur the numbers or something. So I don't have anything going on right now. So I mean, yeah. I mean, if hopefully you can share it without by obscuring sensitive data. So I just so see if you can do that. I would love to see that, and maybe even if you join on one of the following Talk Power BI sessions, maybe you can kind of share that and talk more about that. And of course, the big question how did it go?
Well,
because you're about to present it. So I'd love to hear from you kind of later on.
Okay, sure.
If you will.
So the question is how because I haven't seen any email address from you. So how would I be able to deliver you? Send you this thing?
If you don't hang out on avi@avisingh.com, yeah, I'll put that in there for you.
And the other thing I wanted to comment to you about, I tried to tell you exactly what I just mentioned to you via Discuss, and for some reason it's blocking all any comment I put there in the challenge page itself.
Oh, were you trying to put a URL in there?
No. I was just trying to say, okay, well, I need help so I can send you this the project because I won't be able to.
I don't know. Somehow it didn't like that, but that's great. Yeah. So you can send my email. Is there anything that I can help you with? I mean, you seem to be in a good spot, but if you had any other question or something on your mind, I would love.
Well, I'm kind of happy with what I was able to do. The only thing, well, obviously the report itself was in Spanish. I tried to translate as much as I could into English.
Yeah.
But the only thing that, and it seems to be a bit troublesome, because I actually ended up using your ultimate calendar table, and I changed it around a little bit to adjust it to my own use.
Yeah. So for retail, if you really want to do it right, the retails use the, what is it called, 4-5-4 calendar. Have you heard about that? Have you? I don't know. Maybe it's even used in your company. Has that come up at all?
No.
Yeah. So
I mean, for example, here, while quarters are important because of taxes, as they are everywhere else in the world, they don't usually think in terms of how well do we do quarterly basis on sales. So that's why I'm trying to introduce those different time periods.
Yeah, that's fair enough, and yeah, this one is a touchy subject. So a lot of retail companies don't care about this at all. Some swear by it. The advantage of this calendar is that you're always comparing apples to apples. So so if you're looking at a specific day in this year, right, and you're comparing it with the day in last year, it's always a Thursday, because that's a big deal in retail. And if you've heard Steve Ross on a channel, he's one of the students. So he runs BI for a horse racing thing where they have different horse racing tracks, and so for them, they can never compare Saturday to a Monday. It just wouldn't be fair. So this calendar solves that. So for one, it solves the weekday problem. You're always comparing Thursday to a Thursday, and it also, if you're comparing a month to the month, it's the same number of weeks. You don't have like February has less days and all that sort of stuff. So it's effective. What I would say is, if you don't end up using 4-5-4, then show what you need to show for the management. But when you start guiding them, and you're probably already thinking about it, I'm thinking do more like make it a fair comparison. Like if you do show data by month, but you say dollars earned per day, now that's more fair. Now February is not at a disadvantage, right? So you can start introducing a little bit of these and see how they take it.
I actually have done a bit of the dollars earned per day, but in my case, what I decided is to do the 7-day moving average.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I love kind of rolling averages, and you can say that. Show me for the past 10 weeks or 10 days, something like that. Yeah, those are great too.
Yeah, because basically that smooths out a lot of the noise that occurs on a day basis.
Yep, bingo. Yeah, right on. So rolling averages. Yep, that's a great one. Perfect. So the bad thing is, for some reason they still haven't
or at least I haven't seen how they calculated that easily within a Power BI.
Rolling averages. So you have done it, right?
Yeah, of course, but to me,
yeah,
the most reliable way to do it, which seems kind of stupid or silly, maybe, it's just extracting the daily data and just calculate it over it in Excel.
Oh, hey, let's. I'll show you what I got, and then you can see.
Yeah, maybe there's something that you've done, or because I looked a lot for it, but it's not something that's built in.
Yeah, let's see.
Which is kind of the challenge I found myself in by trying to adjust to yesterday all those formulas.
Let's see. Well, yeah, you can look at my. So I'm gonna pull up the content that we have inside the course. This is relationships. I think 4 is DAX. Okay. By the way, I would be remiss, my friend. So you certainly are what I describe as the Power BI pioneer. Leading this in your company. So hey, I would love to see inside my course. And if you don't choose to enroll, at least enter for the chance to win. And we'll see. Okay. We'll select somebody. Could be you.
So the question is, finally, how do I submit my project to you? Because I would
just email it to avi@avisingh.com. So I'll put it in.
The email you have been using to send the.
Yep. Yeah.
The invitations. Okay, I'll do that because I have to do it before I leave here.
Yeah.
I'm at work currently, so.
Yeah. Say something like Avi asked me to send this.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing, talking about the average and so forth.
Yeah.
The other thing that I also been doing is trying to get the data. For the different weekdays, because obviously they have very different behaviors.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that people might consider looking into anyway.
That's true. Yeah, because weekend is going to be very different than weekday. So this is what I have for rolling averages. So I'm going to speak to the audience on YouTube. So this is what Edwin was talking about. So this is our sales numbers, and folks, wherever you have a lot of variability in the data, and this one is a classic for stock market, right? So I mean, this is sales numbers for AdventureWorks, but you see the daily data. This is in blue right now, and you see how jaggedy it is. And sometimes when it's like that, and it's hard, you just want to see get a sense of things. So that's where rolling averages are really handy. So I'm going to show you. So blue line is just sales. And then notice this is the 30-day average. And you see how he smooths it out. That's the word that Evan used, right? It smooths out the data. And the bigger time span you take, the more it smooths out. So you can, find your own balance. How much do you want to see the individual spikes and so forth? And how much do you want to see? I just want to see an overall trend. So this is the 30-day average. And again, compare it with the daily one. So this is daily. And now this is smoothed out. And now I'm going to go to 90. And you can see that's even more smoothed out, right? So, and if you go back, there's something that happened in July 2016. If you look at or July, I don't know, maybe AdventureWorks runs a promotion here. So July is a fantastic month, something spiked up, and you kind of see that in the daily. Of course, this is July's big spike, but then if you smooth it out enough, it just kind of goes away, and now you just have this overall trend. So it can be really handy. So let me show you the measures that I have here.
Yeah, because that's probably the thing that I haven't been able to figure that out.
Yeah. So I'll post this in the chat. Hopefully it'll paste the whole thing. I think it did. So yeah, so man, calendar table, I love it. It's a gift that keeps on giving. So I just say calculate sales, but give me, and then I'm essentially giving it a range. So I'm saying give me, go to the calendar table and start with, essentially this gives me the current day. So if I'm looking at March 30th, then this will say March 30th. And then I say, oh, go 30 days back and day. And this is so easy to change because here, so this would do a 30-day average. And of course, then I'm dividing by the same number, 30 here. Or if you want to do, let's forget averages for now. Let's just do total. But if you wanted to change it to 90-day, you would just change it 90 days. That's it. If you wanted to say go back 3 months, you would say -3 and change it to months. Heck, if you wanted to do like a rolling year average or something, you can say, yeah, rolling average of 3 years. So it's ultimately flexible. And I pasted the formula in the YouTube chat window.
Okay, thank you.
Try that out. It's, terrific. Edwin, great talking to you. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I look forward to learning more from you either way. All right. And thanks for everything.
Absolutely. Oh, gosh, what an awesome story, my friends. So, I of course, time intelligence is one of my favorite things in Power BI. And yeah, of course, so that example that I showed you comes right out of our course, and I do cover time intelligence. And at the near the beginning of this Q&A, we were talking with Matt, I think. And if you remember, we were talking about the quick wins. What's a great first project? So anything that involves time intelligence is usually a terrific choice, because time intelligence is one of those things which is often very hard to do in the old world, but it's so easy in the new world. I mean, oh gosh, it's just a quick set of functions, and you can have rolling averages, year-over-year comparisons is easy, year-to-date, doing that kind of stuff is so easy, month-to-date, quarter-to-date. So yeah, time intelligence is a lovely option, quick win option for your first proof of concept. Let's see. All right, so did we have, I think we had a new caller, the mystery Tilmex. I'll have to learn your name, my friend.
Can you hear me? I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's Sergeant Lumix is the nickname I got in secondary school, in high school.
Sergeant Lumix. There must be a story there I'm not familiar with. Is it like I don't know, a comic book character? What is that?
Nah, I think Lumix is just like something that's just slow and slow and lazy.
Oh, so they were not really being nice to you.
Yeah, no. They ended up being good mates, so it's all good.
Yeah, hopefully you don't still have that name. What do people call you now?
Sam. Everyone just calls me Sam now, so it's all good.
Perfect. All right, Sam. So where are you calling in from?
London, central London.
All right, and yeah, tell me a bit about yourself.
Okay, where should I start? When I first started using, before I even started using Power BI, I would say I was familiar with data in terms of Excel. Yeah. So I used to do loads of performance management. So more the query, the data that comes out in a spreadsheet versus building the report.
Yeah, performance management for...
That's exactly what I was doing, yeah. So like, I worked for London Fire Brigade, so public sector. So everything from the public sector, well, not everything, some things are outsourced, and everything they provide us in terms of data, we had to QA it to make sure it was correct, if that makes sense. All right. Yeah, and I ended up eventually becoming a BIA. So by the time I touched Power BI, I was already familiar with the concept of reporting, but I hadn't had no SQL, no DAX, no actual technical side of it. But now that was 2 years ago. So fast forward to now, and I've got 2 years of experience, a year in the fire brigade and a year in one of the big retail companies in London. So that's why I have that same peeve with unorthodox calendars.
Yes, the 445. That's
I'm not sure if it is 445, but I think my company's got something completely different. Every day is different every other year. So I'm part of another active Power BI community, we've figured out solutions which I'm happy to share. I don't know if you do it as well. But it's the variable approach with the selected year based on your calendar that you've got, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, so you're right. So I think I have been to companies. So there is a standard 454 calendar that, I mean, if a retail company came to me and they were just kind of starting out, I would just say, guys, you use this. Yeah. But I do come across companies which, they have kind of their own version of it. And yeah, so what you're talking about, it doesn't have to be 454. You can make up your own bloody calendar. You can come up with like your own total definition of this is what I'm gonna call 2018, or this is the current year and it starts here, and right, you can be completely random, but as
That's
long
exactly
as you
what
can
they've got.
codify it. So again, I mean, the one thing that unites all calendar tables is the date column, right? Date is a date is a date, right? So it's at that grain, but then all of the other attributes you can almost kind of hand code, if you will, right? So it seems like you have that, and you have built logic around that to say, yep, you selected this year, so I'm going to go to my custom calendar that I have built for my own company and just hit year -1, and that will show you the last year's data, right? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly what it is, yeah.
Brilliant. That's great. And the good news for everybody who's listening is, my friends, the approach is going to work for any other custom calendar. So if you were using this one or the other one, the approach is the same. You're still going to go to your custom calendar table and say, oh, give me the current year, selected year -1 or something like that. So so terrific. That's great to hear. Did you have any question for me? Anything? I mean, you know, I'm glad you shared this.
It was more to help. I'm not sure if I posted on it. It was more to help. I forgot the guy's name that was asking about how to get 2 data sets over.
Got it.
So I've used. It's more of a modeling technique instead of a DAX technique.
Got it. Hey, I mean, I don't know if are you able to show it? We can.
Yeah, I've already chopped down the screen so that you can only see what you need to see, so it makes sense.
Woohoo! Let's see. How do I? Can you?
Do I have to do? I don't know. There's start video, but there's nothing about start screen.
Hold on.
I'll press.
Oh, there we go. Oh, we can see you now.
Yeah. How do I do my screen?
There should be a share button, like a green thing with an arrow.
Oh yeah, share. Okay, cool. So you guys can see this.
Yes.
You can see this.
Wait, what are we looking at?
It's just a model. I'm just looking at the model. I've minimized the screen so you don't see all the data in it.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, so I'm looking at. It seems like the data. So this is.
So you got your date, your type.
Perfect. So yeah, walk us through. I'll let you run this.
So the way I done it, and me and a couple of mates have done it before, because we always bash our heads about stuff. So so for this example, we have our stock in the store, and then we have our revenue in the store. And it just gives you the gist of if your stock's in the right place versus where you've been making money for that item. If that makes sense.
Yeah, man. I'm really keen to see the calendar table. You go in there next?
Cool. Oh, do you know the calendar? This doesn't involve the calendar table. This is just for the mapping on the map, so you can get the 2 different types in one map.
Okay.
So on the date, you can see the date, and then the type is stock, and the store number, which is going to be consistent, product code, and the amount. So that's the amount of stock, and then type. But I've done SQL, but you can probably do it in Power BI as well. Yeah. So what I've done is I've grouped them as either sell or stock. Got it. So if you go further down, as you'll see this, you'd see the sales. But then what this does gives you is for every day, if it's stock, how much units you've moved, and as well as revenue, and what product it is, and against the store number. So that way you can have your different you can overlap your sales versus your I'm just gonna hide my screen 1 second and open it back up so you can see the actual report.
Okay.
How do I hide this? Stop share, and then I'll open this up. Cool. And then if I go back to share.
I'm still smiling at your is the screen name.
The sergeant of it. So then can you see the screen now? Can you see stock?
It's showing a map.
Yeah, so now what that does do against the same store number, which has got a longitude and latitude, because it's the same reference point in terms of address. Yeah. It allows you to do 1B stock and 1B sell. So that way you can see, well, all the red is where all the stock is, and the blue is where you've had the sales the last 7 days. So the last days. So then that way it allows the person I was asking about it.
Yeah.
You can do where I can't see the screen at the moment because I'm on the live one, but what he wanted to compare on one map based on whatever he's got as his location, if that makes sense.
So red is where the stock is, and blue is where the sale is.
Yeah.
So what would be like a good scenario? What you would typically want to see bigger red dots and smaller blue dots?
So the stock is as of today. So where's your stock today?
Okay.
And then you can see for the last week where it's been selling.
Got it.
You can modify it based on what data you want to feed into it. But
right.
You can split it as into where was our sales for the last 3 days. And then the red will be smaller. The blue would be smaller and the red would be wherever it is. But then this just allows you, so I don't have the product codes on here because it'll probably reveal too much info.
Okay.
But if you decided to focus on one product or one customer even, whatever it is you've got set up, then everything will fall through because you've got everything in one table.
Pretty cool. Hey, this is a good use of map, I would say. We were talking about that earlier with the other caller, and this is great. Hey, thanks so much for sharing this.
No worries. Yeah, I just thought I'd help the guy out, but yeah, cool.
That's great.
No worries.
So, guys, I'll say that I feel really blessed that through this portal and through my course and through the YouTube channel, I have the opportunity to meet people like Sam, Sergeant Lummox, and others in the course, and I see them doing amazing stuff, and it just, I fall in love over and over again in Power BI, and I, yeah, oh gosh, I it's just amazing. All right, great. So I think I've talked to everybody who's on the phone right now. You guys are still hanging on. So Feng has another problem. He's saying after running the query. So the query worked. That's a step in the right direction, I suppose. That's good. I could not apply any time intelligence function because this is directly connected. So how should I resolve this kind of problem? That's a good one. And so first of all, I just want to kind of make it clear that earlier we were talking about the query not working, and that has been resolved. So now we're on to a different problem, and let's solve that. And we'll say direct query not allowing time intelligence. So briefly, I had mentioned earlier that I didn't think that direct query versus import was a problem with the query itself, and I still believe that that's accurate. And given that, did I misspell your name? I did. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to get your name right. Yeah, so it didn't have the impact on the query working or not working. That Feng was able to solve. The query was supposed to work. I'm not sure what the error was, but she solved it, right? So this has I would say no bearing on that. And I can't spell intelligence. That's not very intelligent of me. Direct versus import. So if we go, let's do this. So if we go to a Power BI model, I'm going to close this guy. And we're going to go over here. And if I connect to a SQL server, a database, could be other databases too, I would have two choices here, import or direct query. And I had said that this doesn't have a bearing on the query working or not working, but it does have other impact. And I had said that the default is import. So Feng, to answer you, well, switch to import. No, or I don't know if it will let you switch to import. You might have to redo it. You might have to go back and instead of direct query, select import. But then let's talk about, well, do we always use import? Well, obviously not, but the default is import. So let's go there. So we'll say Power BI direct query limitations. So this is one of the reasons that I say that import is the default, because direct query comes with stipulations, comes with restrictions, and you know, I don't like limitations. I want Power BI to be my playground, right? I want complete flexibility that I can go all out and use query editor the way I want to use it and use DAX measures the way I want to use it. No limitations. So import, I can tap into the full power of Power BI, which is amazing. That's one of the reasons that I say it's the default. There are other reasons too. Direct query does come with limitation. There's no way around it. There's just, well, I don't know. I mean, unless Power BI team changes this. So yeah, time intelligence capabilities are not available in direct query. Do an import. Well then, if a direct query does have limitations, then why would you use direct query? There are typically two reasons. One of them is certainly very valid, which is extremely large data sets. And my friends, the definition of large data sets has transformed for me. It used to be 1 million rows with a large data set. Now I don't even blink if it's around 100 million. I mean, that's nothing. You know, impossible is nothing. So yeah, so you can even go multiple 100 million, 500 million. You can even go beyond that. The higher you go, the more careful you have to make sure that you are sticking to the best practices of the Power BI modeling. And what I do is I try to stick to the Power BI modeling best practices all the time, so I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it later when my data gets bigger and bigger and I would say, oh shoot, I have to redo my model, right? So if you apply the best practices, and you know, obviously I covered it inside my course, I've talked about it on the YouTube channel, all of that stuff. So follow the best practices and you can scale really large. But if you go beyond that, so you know, like trillion rows or something crazy, and it's clearly not working, then well, yeah, I don't know. And again, the largest data set that I've seen was a terabyte. It was compressed to 250 gigabytes. I don't know how many rows it was. Now, of course, you can't do that in Power BI Desktop, so we used SSAS Tabular. So you can scale even in import mode, right? I would say this can handle, I would say, very large data sets, right? So a terabyte of data is really big. You may not be able to do it in Power BI Desktop, but you can do it in SSAS Tabular, which is the same thing. It has the same engine. But what if it's much bigger than that? I would say I haven't worked with those, but if it's really, really big, then you wouldn't be able to import. It just wouldn't work. It would just take too long, you know? So that is one option. Another one is where you need real-time data. And I'm not a huge fan of this, because what I've found is when people mostly say they need real-time data, they actually don't need real-time data. I mean, they want real-time data, but they can be fine, or they can live with. This is the way sometimes I ask my customers as well. Can you live with if it's 15 minutes old? So that is near real-time data. So it's not real-time, but you know, it can be like 15 minutes. Or sometimes they're even fine with 30 minutes. Or sometimes if we really push, they'll say, yeah, daily is fine actually. I mean, I usually ask them, if they'd really ask for real-time data, I say, what action are you going to take? What action are you going to take? So if you see that, oh, this happened in the last hour, in the last minute, are you going to take some action? And then if they say yes, then, well, you need real-time data. Another approach that I use to avoid this, not avoid it, but to solve it, is I would build two models for them. So usually their real-time data needs are very specific. They're very, very specific, right? So Avi, yep, you know, I just want to look at my sales numbers, blah, blah, year over year, and all of that can be handled here, where it can be daily refresh. But I need to, whenever this event happens, this one event happens, if a customer, you know, sends me an invoice of more than $1 million, then I want to be flagged. Something like that, a very specific condition. Then man, I built something just for that real-time need that they have, right? So that one I build real-time, but then I can have my full model which is so again, to recap it, I'm not a huge fan of this. If somebody says we're using direct query because we need real-time data, I ask them like 10 different questions, the ones that I just ran, right? So, but again, maybe there are scenarios where you do go with direct query real-time data, but most often this is the more legitimate one, although the definition of large can vary because this is pretty large. If you do end up in direct query, that's the trade-off you take. You take these limitations. If you want to avoid that, you go back to import, and if Power BI doesn't cut it, then scale up to SSAS tabular. And man, that bad boy can scale. Hopefully that helped. So Saeed is saying we haven't seen the calendar table. Well, I can point you to that. So if you go to my channel, man, I love that photo. I wish I was like that. I was more like pulling my hair out back in the day. So if you go on my channel, most of my resources are right here in the playlist. So there is there's Power BI tutorial, which hopefully a lot of you are following along through this challenge. There's all the Talk Power BI. Oh man, I can't wait to hit 50. You know, give me ideas for what we're gonna do for the 51. And here is the whole calendar playlist. And the calendar, man, it's just. It's a gift, and if I may say so, this one is pretty good. This one is pretty awesome. This one is built right inside the query editor. Let's see if this one has it. I don't even know if it has it. Yeah, perfect. So the calendar table is essentially this. You get this, and you can right-click, copy it from my model, go back and paste it in your model, and wait for this. You can also paste it inside Excel Power Query. It's so cool. It's amazing. It blows my mind, right? So you can just copy and paste it, and that's it. And it does have so the whole thing, the whole video series walks you through on how to use it, why something is set up that way, and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of goodness in there. And for me, the rule is if you have a date column in your table, I don't care if it's a month or an year, those are still dates, you must have a calendar table. There's just do it, all right? Just don't argue, you know? So date column means a calendar table, and that's it. It just makes a lot of things really, really easy. And yeah, and the video series talks about that. Now, of course, yeah, in my course, I cover this in a little bit more detail. Perfect. Anything else, guys? Tom, hey Tom, Red Scooter 22, I love it. Okay, Jen is saying the calendar table, she liked it. Yes. All right, let's. Hey, anybody else for calling in? I'm kind of glad that worked. Let's. I'm gonna post it again. So it is on your challenge accepted page. But hey, I'm just gonna put the handy link right here. And wait, what's the time? 2:13. Let's do one last question or call, and we'll call it a day. So tomorrow, guys, this is the first time I'm going to be going live on Saturday. So if well, I realize it's you know, it was either this or encroach upon your Thanksgiving week, and not an easy choice. But we'll see. You know, we'll see tomorrow. I'm hoping. Oh, tomorrow we would do the drawing for our winner there. So if you have submitted that survey, you definitely want to be there. Okay, cool. All right, so folks, I'm not hearing a caller on the line, and oh, actually, I think my call just dropped. So tomorrow, same time, so 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT. A new relationship preview. How many views? That one is great. It's odd. This is not. I'm not showing it in here, but we saw it. So there is a new feature which lets you define. It's probably gonna make me restart it. Yeah, I'll probably do it. It's a convenient feature, but what's really missing is perspectives, which is ironically available in Power Pivot, which is Power BI inside Excel, but it's not available in Power BI. So the new relationship view is cool, but perspectives are cooler. they make the same thing, like the subset of the model, available to your end user as well. Anybody who's used it knows what I'm talking about. So yeah, you should have been getting emails. So the track for the challenge is that either you're following along with the tutorial, so and that has all the files and building step by step. So every day I've been sending you emails. And the first day we did. So let's go back to the tutorial. So first day I said.
Why is the calendar table so important in Power BI?
It's always weird to hear yourself. But if you go here, and I'll be quick to pause it. Okay, it's the weirdest. Okay, great. So either you were following along, and first day you tackle the query editor piece, and then relationships and DAX, and the last part was visualization, or you're building your own dashboard, as we heard from Edwin and others. So yeah, I mean, I'm here to support you. You're going to be going through the same steps. Focus on the query editor, focus on relationships and DAX. Yeah, that's right. So Power BI tutorial, and that one is available on the channel. So that's what that's the main resource that I want you to follow along. Unless you're off the training wheels, then you can go do your own project. And of course, as I said, enrollment to my course is open as well. If you want more information, go to the day one webinar, where I do teach you my 5 secrets to unlock Power BI, and at the end of the webinar I also share enrollment information to sign up for my course. If whether you do that, whether you enroll through that or not, either way, if you're participating in this challenge, if you have signed up at powerbichallenge.com, then you all have a chance to win. All you have to do is just complete these steps. So, and this link wasn't available earlier, now it is. So go ahead and fill out the survey, and tomorrow we're gonna announce one lucky winner. All right, my friends, I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Until next time, power on.